In this class, we are going to understand about data types in C. What purpose data types are used? Data types in C can be used to create variables in memory for storing values. In order to create variables in C language, we have to use what? Data types. And variables are the actual ones that stores values. Okay. Now, data types are categorized into three. One is basic or primitive data types. Second one is derived data types. Third one is user defined data types. Now, first one is basic data types or primitive data types. These data types are already exist in the C language and are the starting data types of what? C. And these are for integer, float, double and what? Character. Okay. Second category is derived data types. These derived data types are created using basic data types. Okay. And examples are arrays, pointers and what? Functions. The third category is user defined data types. Now, what do you mean by user here? User means the programmer who write the programs. So, it is possible that in C language we can create our own data types. That is, programmer can create his own data types and therefore such data types are called as user defined data types. Therefore, the data types created by programmer are called as user defined data types. Examples: structures, unions and what? Enumerations. Like this, we have three categories of data types. Now, in this class, we are going to understand the first category of data types. Okay, that is built-in or primitive data types. Let us understand the first category, that is what? Basic or primitive data types. The first data type we are going to understand is int. Okay, basic data types are how many? 4: int, float, double and character. First of all, we are going to understand int. What is int? Int is a keyword in C language. There are 32 keywords present in the C language. Okay, and each keyword have their own meanings. About these keywords, I have already created one video. Okay, and I have already explained the previous video. Okay, therefore, int is a keyword. Now, I am going to explain the meaning of this int keyword. Okay. Int keyword can be used to create integer variables. So, if you want to create integer variables, then you can use what? Int keyword. Okay. So, I repeat, int keyword can be used to create integer variables that can store integer constants. Okay. What are integer constants? Numbers without decimal points. Okay. So, then int size is 4 bytes. 4 bytes means 4 cells in the memory. Okay. Therefore, syntax of creation of variable. How to create a variable? What is the syntax? Syntax is a rule that we have to follow. So, syntax of creation of variable is this one. Data type, first of all you have to write data type, then variable name is equal to value 1, comma, then variable name 2 is equal to value 2, comma, like this any number of variables you can create. Okay, but in this particular syntax, one thing that you have to understand, this is equal to value I am putting in this particular square brackets. In square brackets I am putting what? Is equal to value. Means while creating the variable, either you may use is equal to value or you may omit it. It is up to you. It is not compulsory to use this particular is equal to value. Therefore, this square brackets is called as optional. It's called as optional. Optional means it is not compulsory to use. Okay. Let us create an example of creating, or let us create some example of integer variables. Okay. See, I am creating some integer variables. See the syntax, the rule that I am following here. First of all, what you have to write? Data type. What the data type is? Integer I am writing. Integer. Variable name 1 is what? A I am writing. Okay. I am using this time this is equal to value. Therefore, is equal to 10 I am writing. Then put a comma. Second variable I am creating like this, like roll number is equal to 25, comma. Third variable empid I am not storing any value, means like this I am not using here. Okay, it is not compulsory to use. So, in this case I am creating a variable is equal to 10, b is equal to 25 and empid is nothing I am storing. So, these variables are created using what? Int keyword. Okay, and after creating the int variable, I am storing here empid is equal to 1005. Yes, this is after creating the variable you can store the value. Got it? Right. Let me show you the memory representation of this particular statement. So, let me explain on the board. Okay, let me explain the board. So, what are the variables that are created, please? This is integer a is equal to, what is that is 10, comma, then roll number is equal to 25, comma, then emp id. Okay, and the next line I am writing emp id is equal to 1005. This is what actually created. Okay, now let me explain on the board very clearly. Okay, fine. So what happens is, what is the size of integer? Integer size is what? 4 bytes. Remember, integer size is what? 4 bytes. This 4 bytes of memory is allotted to the A, allotted to the roll number, allotted to what? Employee ID. So therefore, what I am going to do here, it is, now this is what the memory, please. Now I am going to draw the memory. This is, assume this is the memory. So memory, this is the memory, is a collection of what? Cells. Memory is a collection of cells. Like this, some cells are there. Okay, and this is what we called as memory, and each cell have an address 101, 102, 103, 104. Like this, addresses will be present. Okay, now what happens here, it is, let me explain what is generally happens with this. Now tell me, A is going to occupy how many bytes in the memory? A belongs to which data type? Integer. Integer size is how many bytes? 4 bytes. Therefore 4 bytes of memory is allotted to the A. Now A is a variable that is going to occupy how many bytes? 4 bytes. And in these 4 bytes, it is going to store the value called as 10. 10 is a numeric value. Okay. Similarly, roll number is also occupy, let's say that roll number also occupies 4 bytes. This is what 4 bytes is going to occupy, and here it is going to store what? 25. Okay. Next, emp id is there. Emp id is also occupies emp id. Okay, so this variable will be created in the memory like this. So emp id is a variable that is created, okay, like this in the memory, and which occupies what? 4 bytes. 4 bytes are 4 cells in the memory, because one cell can store, one cell is equal to how much information it can store? 1 byte it can store. Okay, so therefore now this emp id also occupying 4 bytes, and after creating the variable emp id, after creating this emp id, later on emp id is stored with 1005. Therefore here it is going to store with what? 1005. Okay, this is clear. Like this, integer variable A, roll number, and emp id, all these 3 variables occupying what? 4 bytes, because integer size is 4 bytes. Okay, but now let me tell you in depth of this particular thing. Let me show you once again here. Okay, now 4 bytes means how it is going to be. Let me say that. Okay, this diagram, let me copy paste here. Let me explain some more in depth concept here, please. Okay, let me first of all copy paste here, control. Okay, now this A variable or this particular roll number variable, how it is going to occupy, let me show you, please. Okay, let me erase. Now the roll number is stored with what? Let's say that this is what? What is the roll number? Roll number, okay, is occupying how many bytes? 4 bytes. Like this, 4 bytes it is occupying. Okay, and stored with how much? It is storing 25. Okay, but how actually this 25 is stored in the memory? Okay, now in the memory, any value is stored in what? Binary language or machine language. Any value stored in the memory in binary language or machine language. So each cell is divided into each cell. So one cell can store how many bytes of information? 1 byte. 1 byte means how many bits? 8 bits. 8 bits. Therefore now each cell is divided into how many parts? Let's say that there are 4 cells are present. Cell number 1, cell number 2, cell number 3, cell number 4. Assume this address is 10, otherwise 201 cell address, 202, 203, 204. Okay, but what happens here, it is, let me say that. So each cell is divided into 8 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, 7 and 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see. Okay, like this the memory will be present. Okay, for roll number. Means now how this particular 25 is going to be stored in this particular memory, that is what I am going to explain. So 25 first of all is converted into binary language, means divide by 2. Already I have explained this memory representation in the previous videos. Okay, but once again I am explaining here. So how many times it goes? 12. So 2 12s are 24. How much left? 1. Then 2 6 are 12, remainder 0. Okay, 2 3s are 6, remainder 0. Okay, 2 1s are 2, remainder okay, 1 it will be left 1, 2 zeros, and 1 will be the remainder. So write down from bottom to top, that is 11101, okay, and this value will be stored in this particular memory. How? Let me show you that now. Okay, so what is the value stored here? So let me say that 10011, and remaining things are all what? Zeros only. Okay, like this, in the memory cells, information is stored in machine language or binary language. Okay, remember this particular thing. So this is how the values are stored actually in the memory. Okay, right. So do you understand now how to create integer variables? This is how can we create integer variables, and this is how it is going to happen in the memory. Okay, then now we cannot store a is equal to 5.89. Why? A is a integer variable. Integer variable cannot store decimal points. Therefore, this is particular thing is wrong. This decimal points it cannot store. So don't try to store in the integer variable numbers with decimal points. Okay, right. Now we are going to understand float data type. Okay, second data type. Float keyword. What purpose float keyword? This particular thing, let me first of all change this. Okay, font. Okay, now float keyword can be used to create float variables that can store what? Float constants. Okay, now what are float constants? Float constants can have up to 6 decimal points. Okay, and float size is also 4 bytes. Now let us see the examples of creating the float variable. See, float salary is equal to 25,000.00, radius is equal to, okay, 6.345, let's assume. Okay, this is like this. If you want to store any points into the variable, then you have to create what? Float variables. Okay, let us understand this also. I'll make it 50 paisa. Okay, let's say now how this particular variable's memory will be created, let us understand on the board. Okay, let us understand on the board, right? Let's say now here, let me erase how this particular salary variable will be created. So let me write here, that is float, what I wrote please, salary is equal to 25,000. Okay, 25,000, 123.50 paisa, and I have written a radius variable is equal to, okay, 6 points. Okay, sorry, 6.345, that is what I stored. Now what is the size of this particular variable? Let me explain here please. Let us explain what is the size of float. Float is also what? 4 bytes. Now 4 bytes of memory is allotted to the salary as well as what? Radius. Therefore directly now I am writing salary is going to occupy 4 bytes in the memory like this. Assume this is 301, this is 302, this is 303, this is 304, and stored with how much value? 25,000.50, and remaining 4 will be, it is going to store with what? Zeros, because float compulsory store 6 decimal points. Float variable store 6 decimal points. Okay, then here radius. Now the radius is going to radius is also 4 bytes. 1 2 3 4. Assume this is 305, 306, 307, this is 308. Okay, and stored with this particular value, that is 6.345, and the remaining 3 will be what? Zeros. Okay, this is how the memory will be. Okay, okay, fine. Here I am going to copy paste this particular memory representation. Fine, this is how can we create the float variables. Now we are going to understand the third one, that is double. So double keyword can be used to create double variables that can store double constants. Okay, now double variables can store up to 15 decimal points. Float can store up to 6 decimal points, but when come to the double, it can store up to 15 decimal points. And double size is 8 bytes. Okay, double size is 8 bytes, means double variables occupy 8 cells in the memory. Example, double pi is equal to this particular value we have given. See, here given 15 decimal points I have given. Okay, it can store. But what's the memory representation? The memory representation directly I am going to show you here. That is, pi is a variable created with how many bytes? 1 2 3 4 5 6, okay, 7 8, like this. 101, 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, like 108 cells. 108 cells, which is stored with what now? 3.1415, like this, all decimal points it is stored. Okay, so all these decimal points it will store like this double. Whenever you want to store large number of decimal points, means above 6 decimal points, if you want to store, then it is recommended to use what? Double data type. Okay, right. Next, the last data type is what? Char. So char keyword can be used to create character variables that can store character constants. Character variables can store only one character. Okay, only one character it can store. Then char size is 1 byte, means character variables occupies one cell in the memory. Okay, examples: char grade is equal to a, symbol is equal to plus. So how the memory representation for this particular variables? Let me show you here. Okay, so what is the char, please? Char, let me say that grade is equal to what I said, a, and symbol is equal to, okay, symbol is equal to plus. What the character size is? 1 byte. Character size is 1 byte, which is allotted to the grade and allotted to what? Symbol. So therefore now grade is going to occupy 1 byte and symbol is occupies what? 1 byte. Now here this is address, assume 501, address assume 502, and grade is stored with a and symbol is stored with what? Plus. Okay, so like these character variables occupy only 1 byte in the memory, 1 byte in the memory. Okay, so this is what how can we create variables. Okay, so let me explain some more examples how to create different data types. Okay, so what we have completed, please? We have completed, okay, the basic data types we have completed, and these are for int, float, double, and what? Char. Okay, now how to create and one more thing I would like to tell you, please. Int size is 4 bytes, float is also 4 bytes, double is 8 bytes, character is 1 byte. Okay, now let me give you some more examples of creating the different types of variables. Okay, different types of variables like this: integer a comma b comma c. Okay, all these variables can store what? Integer constants. Okay, then float variables I can create float, let's say that bonus. Okay, let's say that area. Okay, base. Okay, height. Okay, like bonus is money related. Okay, so all these variables, area, base, height, and bonus, can have what? Points. That is why I'm creating the float variable. Okay, then character, suppose gender I want to store, gender is equal to male, like this. Okay, character variables we can create. Is that clear? For example, digit I can also make a 5 as a digit, like this. Okay, anything that we put in the single quote is becomes a character. Okay, and if you want, you can assign the values also. Is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, like this we can store. There is no issue. Okay, so like this we can create different types of variables. Okay, right. So this is what how you create the variables in algorithm. Let me show you. In the algorithms, the first step is what? Creation of. In the algorithm, the first step is creation of variables. So how to create the variables? Now variables, we use different data types to create the variables, like integer variables, float variables, double variables, character variables. Okay, so I have completed the first step of algorithm, how to write in C language, that we have completed. Okay, this first step we have completed. Clear? So we create the variables using int, float, double, char data types. Okay, so this is what we have completed in this particular class.